Thanks for watching CTM Sports, and today we're gonna talk about how does sports relate to real life. Me growing up, my mind worked this way. It's like how when I'm learning something, how does this relate to something that I watch or something that I know? And that's something I always did. I related human interaction to like sports analogies, is use it for analogies and stuff like that. So go on this journey with me as we talk about these things. So that's today. How does sports and life relate to each other? And they do relate to each other in a major way. Whether it's football, baseball, basketball, all of it. You can pull something from it and relate it to real life. Matter of fact, let me know in the comments, how do you relate sports to real life? Now, everybody has a different take on it. Everybody looks at it different. But the reason why I do it is it helps me retain what I learn once I can relate it to something that I can use over and over or that I see over and over. So, for example, when you talk about coding or you're talking about like anything in IT, they can relate to sports. Football, basketball. The more you practice, the better you get. And the more you understand the game, the more efficient you can operate. Like what you can and can't do. Words out of bounds. As long as you stay in bounds, you can do kind of whatever you want to do. As long as you stay in bounds, whether football or basketball. But if you get outside the lines, now you're out of bounds. That's you get a whistle, you get a call. In real life, you get out of bounds, it could cost you a lot. You can get a call, or you can go to jail. You can lose your job, lose a relationship. All kind of things can happen. Just like in sports, you get 6 fouls. That might not happen in real life. You might not get 6 fouls, depending on what it is. Sometimes you can get a technical foul and that's it. You eject it. So think about that in life. How does life relate to sports? Some people are great players. Some people are not great players. Some people is the starters. Some people are reserves. It's all about being honest about who you are and know where you are. So with that being said, ranking system in real life. When you talk about a ranking system, the metrics of it, based on performance, based on the wins, other things, preseason hype, in life is the same way. When you're in a proximity of people, we naturally do it. We just don't realize it, but people have rank. It's either based on who you hang with, individually. Somebody know you individually based on accomplishments, I guess, what they can see, perceive. Sometimes having the cleanest car can put you high on the ranking system. Sometimes your education can put you on the ranking system. When we was younger, like dating is almost like a ranking system within itself, man or woman. And I want to show you a graphic while we're talking about the rankings. Um, an important note: rankings change based on performance, wins, and voting. So a lot of times players they get these rankings based on other people voting on them, based on performance, wins. Sometimes it could be PR, all kind of other things. But I did this to show you like a top 10, and you can rank jobs a top 10. You can rank, some people rank people they deal with top 10 maybe. You can rank, and when you was dating, man rank women, women rank men. It could be money rankings, you know. It could be access rankings. You date them based on, the access that person gives you, man or woman. Beauty, looks, you get ranked on that. Men, height, body build, you get ranked on that. And the rankings change year to year. Sometimes it be day to day. You can be the top in a group of guys. You can be the top sought after woman, and you can mess around, play around, have a kid, can change everything about you biometrically, and your ranking will change. That's how vain the world is. That's just how the world works. It's not gonna change, but you have to be smart. If you're gonna play this game, you have to understand that you got to take care of business on all ends to stay in the top 10. Men as well. You may have a clean car. You may have the rims. You may have a nice job. Guess what? One mistake, you get fired. You lose all that. You may fall from the one spot. You may fall down to number 8 until you can get back to the top spot. So understand that rankings are real, even though people don't talk about it out loud. But naturally, you rank things, a priority list, and everybody has different metrics they rank with. Matter of fact, you may get two people that use different metrics to rank stuff. So we think about jobs. What's the top jobs right now? What, tech, nursing, stuff like that. Depending on where you at. If you're in the medical field, nurse, being a doctor, being a nurse, and then they ranking it based on money. They ranking it based on access and prestige or whatever. Everybody ranks stuff different, but there is a ranking system in the real world. Just understand that, and the world can be a vain place. If you can't take the criticism, if you can't take the vainness, it's best just not to even get involved. You have to be mentally at a different place to be able to understand, okay, I may be ranked number 1. I kind of fell off a little bit because some things happened, so I'm probably at number 6 now. You got to be able to handle that. Some people can't handle that when they fall. That's why I talked about on the podcast, the thinking game. Wrong button. Make sure you check out the thinking game every Thursday around 6 p.m. as we talk about life topics, life, literacy, content topics. But back to the sports show. Rankings are real. And you have to be mentally prepared to handle wherever you fall on the list, on somebody's list or whatever. You got to be able to be flexible without breaking. That's sports as well. You got to be able, sometimes you hear a defense bend but don't break. That means you may give up short yardage, but you won't give up the deep yardage. Basketball bend but don't break. You may not give up the 3 ball, but you may be weaker in the post because you're not giving up the 3 ball, so you give up the layup. Same way in the real world. Flexible, bend but don't break. When you're at a job, they may bend you a little bit, but you're not going to break. They may try to get you to work extra hours, but you're not going to break. You're not going to go off on nobody. You're not going to let them get under your skin. You're going to be flexible enough until you find something better, or flexible enough to get what you need to get out that job, and then you start looking elsewhere. But in life, you have to be flexible without breaking, because life will bend you in many different ways, but you can't break. You can't let it break you. And then sometimes when you break, it affects your mental health. You could be in a depression, but it takes mental strength to go through life, to go through gray area things, and still not allow life to break you. It take a lot. It take a lot of mental strength to do that. So with that being said, you got to be able to learn patterns to build counter defenses. One thing you got to understand, just dealing with people, everybody has a pattern. Everybody. Whether it's an OCD pattern, they just really obsessive about different things. Some people like really obsessive about cleanliness. I don't know how I'm messing up tonight. Being real clean. You got some people that's OCD about details, strategy, stuff like that. But you got to be able to learn the patterns of people. You have some people that just dealing with life. They have a pattern. Like, they say if somebody, happens to be on drugs, they have a pattern of doing things. Somebody does, like with kids, have a pattern. Before they do something bad, sometimes they usually have a pattern that lead up to it. You think about guys that go through unfortunate events. Usually there's a pattern that leads up to that. Talking to girls when you're younger, you're dating girls, there are patterns. You have a pattern, and the person that you're looking at or dating, they have a pattern as well. And a lot of times, if you have the mental strength and you're flexible in your approach and your strategy, you can build a counter to what's going on. So let's say if a guy meets somebody let's say somebody meets a guy that he perceives that this woman is a gold digger. She's all about the money. Well, his strategy could be he's going to bend just enough so he don't break and give her actual money, but he may take her out. He may see if he can kind of weaken her offense with his defense without giving in to what her main objective is to get money. So he has a strategy in place to try to counter that. Happens all the time. People out here selling dreams all the time. In jobs, in the corporate world, there are patterns. Managers have patterns. Workers have patterns. Some people have a pattern to where they're independent. They're going to learn on their own. You have some people that have patterns. They always ask somebody for help. Like they never can get to the point where they can figure something out on their own. A pattern. You have managers that have a pattern of being a micromanager. Then you have some managers that have a pattern of allowing you to grow at your own pace and figure things out. Everybody has a pattern. Marriage, you have to be able to deal with each other's patterns in marriage. Husband has a pattern, wife has a pattern. You got to somehow mesh those two patterns together and make it work. And it can work. It just takes patience from both sides and endurance, forgiveness, and love on both sides. But everybody has a pattern, and instead of letting it get under your skin, learn how to counter the pattern in order to be able to endure and live with it. Because if you don't, imagine this. If you complain about somebody else's pattern, they can complain about your pattern as well. So learn how to deal with patterns that are beneficial to you. There are some patterns that is not beneficial to you. Whether it's dealing with a manipulator, dealing with somebody that's always like to control stuff. Some people like that pattern, some people don't. You have to realize what patterns work with you, what patterns don't. That's something, an individual matter that you have to understand in life. Because they say some patterns, they don't work well with each other. They don't mesh well. So, to pick one, Zebo or Charles Oakley? Who you picking? Zebo or Charles Oakley? They both kind of had that kind of persona, that enforcer kind of persona. I've seen both of these guys play, being 40. I remember him playing for the Knicks with Patrick Ewing and them and stuff. And I remember Zebo with the Blazers, the Grizzlies, and he went to the Kings toward the end of his career. If I had to pick one, I'm probably going to go Oakley. I seen Oakley, a team of security guards try to hold this guy down. They still couldn't hold him down. That dude he may be like a super soldier. He may have that super soldier serum in him, man, because dude do some crazy stuff. And I seen at the Knicks game, they tried to hold him down, and he wasn't going. He powered up on him.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Zebo he was about that life too. Zebo was about that life too. But Oakley though was about that life. He was about it. He was about that life. But shout out to, let me know who you picking, Zebo or Charles Oakley. Let me know who you picking. So our next one is Darius Miles or James Flight White. Who you picking? Both of these dudes was crazy dunkers. Could jump from anywhere off the floor, seemed like a dunk on you without even dribbling the ball. Just take off and dunk. Darius Miles probably had his best years with the Clippers. Him and Q Rich. Um, James Flight White kind of was all over the league. I remember he played for the Knicks. I want to say he played for the Rockets at one time. But he was a YouTube sensation by how he dunked. Played for Cincinnati. I like Cincinnati too. Their jerseys was pretty nice. But who you picking? Darius Miles or James Flight White? I'm going to pick Darius Miles, though. Darius Miles, man, was cold. He actually played with the Clippers for a while. Him and Q Rich had the little thing they used to do. That's why I got it right there. Yeah, I'm going to go with Darius Miles. James Flight White was good, too, in his own right. But Darius Miles had a little bit more of a career than James Flight White. I think if Darius Miles' injuries kind of caught up with him at the end, I really think he could have been in the league a little bit longer, but I think his injuries kind of caught up with him. So with that being said, guys, thanks for watching CTM Sports. Thanks for watching Think Again Podcast. Thanks for watching the CTM channel. We appreciate all the support. I think we had like 230, something like that, subscribers. So we appreciate all the support. We thank you for watching. And this is Mike, and I'm signing out.